Hello, this is Ben from the Ben Talk Sports Shed. This is my second or third attempt on this recording. Let's hope this one goes well. Noah's not here to join us, but tonight is the NFL draft, or round one of the NFL draft at least. So let's get the mock draft the final one. Trevor Lawrence is the most hyped quarterback we've seen. I think he's the second highest rating in the last 20 years, something like that. He's one of the most hyped prospects we've ever seen at quarterback. He's going to go number one to the Jaguars pretty easily. Tank for Trevor, or lose for Lawrence, as other people might have said. The Jets, I don't know which quarterback I like, Wilson or Fields, but the Jets have made it clear that they like Wilson. They take him here. He's a pretty decent young quarterback. He's got a lot of potential still. So I think there's a good balance, and I like him. Here's where we get interesting. The 49ers have stated publicly that they like two quarterbacks, Trey Lance and Mac Jones. They traded a little bit high to get them, I think. I think right here's where you want to draft someone who is both good now and young with good potential, somebody like Fields. But of the two quarterbacks they think, they're looking at Lance or Jones. Lance is a bit more of a project, and this team's ready to compete now. It's possible they go with Lance in a setup of like a Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes dynamic, where they have, Garoppolo be a mentor. But I think they're looking for someone to push Garoppolo a little bit harder now. And so I think they take Mac Jones. Here's the trade up. Atlanta's looking to trade their pick anyway, and I think they do it here so they can trade back and get some defense. The Bears need a quarterback desperately. I think they trade up and look to grab Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is probably the number 2 quarterback in the draft, and with the combination of potential and ability that he already has, I think he's a great fit in Chicago. It's somebody who can be developed, but also has the potential who doesn't immediately need to be developed. He's got a mix of both. Be able to help push them to try to take the division away from the Packers, or at least make a playoff run instead of the 7-9 BS getting smashed by the Saints that we had. The Bengals take Penny Sewell, something like that. Oregon offensive lineman. He's one of the most hyped offensive linemen we've ever seen, and the Bengals need that help desperately. Please protect Joe Burrow. Don't mess this up, and take a wide receiver. I think this is interesting. It's either going to be Ja'Marr Chase or Kyle Pitts, I think, here. I think the Dolphins decided to go with wide receivers because of Tua's arm. But, it's a mixed thing. Ja'Marr Chase is one of the more wide receivers we've ever seen. I think he goes in front of the Alabama core. I think the Lions take Rashawn Slater. He is he had a great year at Northwestern, where, Northwestern kind of had a breakout year college football-wise. And I think that kind of toughness that we're seeing out of their coach, who I cannot quite remember the name of off the top of my head, but that kind of toughness that he's talking about, biting kneecaps off, cursing, I think that kind of toughness that he brings will lead to him wanting to build the offensive line first and then building up the quarterback position. So he wants to build offensive line, defense, I think, and use that kind of core and then put in a quarterback. I think that's his kind of mentality going in. So I think he drops offensive line here. Okay. I think with the trade ups for Sam Darnold and getting rid of, Teddy Bridgewater, it's possible to take a quarterback like Trey Lance here, but I think they take Kyle Pitts and try to build an elite offense that they can run any quarterback with. This plus Robbie Anderson, plus McCaffrey, plus that decent O-line, plus whatever quarterback they have, they think will probably fit. That defense is beginning to look good and beginning to grow. I think they want to add a key tight end because Brady's getting older, Matt Ryan's getting older, and the Saints, who know what they're going to do. They might have a chance to break through here in the next couple of seasons. The Broncos need cornerback help desperately. They signed Kyle Fuller for a moment, then released him. They very unclear what they're doing there. Patrick Surtain, the second, is a fantastic cornerback out of Alabama. Alabama had one of the best defenses last year, and they almost always produce pretty decent defenders, especially the cornerback and D-line position. I think they go with the cornerback here, and Surtain seems to be the highest ranked cornerback in the league in the draft. The Cowboys need run stopping, especially with Sean Lee being retiring and them getting reinforced in the secondary with Keanu Neal and DeMonte Casey. So I think they take Micah Parsons, who is the highest ranked linebacker. The Giants are interesting. They kind of signed a couple more wide receivers, but I think they really need a second or third option, or maybe even a first option if these guys develop. The 2 wide receivers out of Alabama that are going pretty high right now are Jalen Waddle and Devonta Smith. And I think the Giants go with Jalen Waddle just because he has a little bit of a bigger build. Now, I'm not saying that is a problem with Devonta Smith. I am just simply projecting what I think is going to happen, and I think that teams are going to be nervous about drafting someone as skinny as Devonta Smith is. With With that being said, he goes number 12 to the Eagles. There are other pieces they need, but I think that they're going to look for something flashy to the fans where they are because the fans are getting a little bit pissed off with the organization. I think they want to look for somebody flashy, like Devonta Smith. The Chargers need cornerback help desperately. They have the offensive being to fill in the pieces. I think they either go with O-line or cornerback, and I think with that division being as stacked for QBs as it is, I think they do take the cornerback position, and J.C. Horn is the second wide receiver. Minnesota Vikings also need cornerbacks, so I think they take Greg Newsome. Patrick Peterson, they signed Patrick Peterson this offseason, but Peterson isn't a number one option anymore at cornerback. So they're going to try to get some developmental pieces now, I think. So Patriots need a young quarterback to develop under Cam Newton, and I think Trey Lance actually fits really nicely because Cam Newton has that experience as a mobile quarterback in the NFL. So I think that kind of makes a nice fit. And Patriots don't even have to move up to try to get him. I think a lot of teams are hyped up on him right now, but after the top 4 or 5, unless a team trades up, I don't think they actually need it. And I think even the Patriots realize that there are really good quarterback options like Kellen Mond and Kyle Trask in the later rounds. And so if they don't get, if something happens where, somebody trades up to get Trey Lance, they can also get a serviceable quarterback. It's not like, unlike New England, to, develop a great quarterback from the 6th round or later. Arizona desperately needs cornerbacks. The edge is looking fantastic. So they either go O-line or cornerback, and I think they recognize the weakness in the cornerback position, and they go for a little bit of a reach. Caleb Farley has been falling off the draft boards mostly due to his back injuries and now getting COVID. I think that they do take this reach just because how desperately they need cornerback help. Okay, the Raiders take Trevon Moehrig. Now, Moehrig isn't actually projected to go this early, but it's also the Raiders. So when they get a prospect they like, they take him early. They desperately need secondary help. We saw that last season. We saw their defense completely collapse because of that secondary, losing 2 games to Miami and to Kansas City that they really should have won if the secondary was just at all competent. So I think this is the top-rated safety, and I think that's where they go. Okay, the Miami Dolphins draft Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. They are in a weird position where I think they have the right piece. They just need to develop a little bit more. They did release Kyle Van Noy, and I think this is their Kyle Van Noy replacement. Washington is also in a weird position where they might need a quarterback, but they might be okay with starting Tyler Heineke. I'm not sure what they're doing. But let's say they keep Tyler Heineke and, some Ryan Fitzpatrick in there. What they need besides that position is they need wide receivers or tight ends. McLaurin is a fantastic wide receiver number 1, but they need a second option, and they can't just have, Antonio Gibson be both a running back and wide receiver for them. He's not quite McCaffrey. So I think they draft Rashawn Bateman here. With pick 20 that they got from Chicago and the trade up for number 4, the Atlanta Falcons take Greg Rousseau. Rousseau is a developmental piece right now at the edge, and I think that's who they take. They know they need help on the defense. There's not a lot of great secondary pieces that fall this late, so I think they might take some secondary pieces and some linebackers in the later rounds, but I think they take the best defender available right now, which I think is going to be Greg Rousseau. The Colts take Christian Darrisaw. They have a very strong O-line, and they don't have any major holes yet. Maybe Carson Wentz is a hole. I don't know. That's not my decision to make. I think they want to make sure that Wentz feels comfortable in that pocket because he struggled with that in Philadelphia. And having extra depth on the O-line is always a good idea, especially what we saw with Tennessee, where people like some of their offensive linemen walked in, and then they kind of struggled this season with the run game. Now, they didn't struggle. Tennessee didn't struggle with the run game. They just, couldn't put it all together in the playoffs. Speaking of Tennessee, they don't have any edge rushers right now. They tried to sign Jadeveon Clowney, and then he just didn't perform at all. And now he's gone to Cleveland. So I think they take Azeez Ojulari, Georgia off the edge rusher. And I think that's going to really be just an edge piece on that defense. The Jets with, I don't remember who's picking, Seattle's pick. Sorry, there's a little thing blocking my screen. Seattle's pick for, the Jamal Adams trade. They take Elijah Vera Tucker, offensive lineman out of USC. They need help everywhere, but I think they looked at what happened with Andrew Luck. They looked at what happened with Joe Burrow, and they realized, okay, if we're going to draft a young quarterback this high, we need to protect him. So I think they're going to go try to protect Wilson, and they take offensive lineman here. They already have Mikael Becton on the offensive tackle, so I think they take a guard. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been very, very stubborn about pretending Roethlisberger stole the number 1 option, with the QB room being Roethlisberger, Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins, which is a weird QB room. But they can't ignore that Pouncey retired and the O line's completely collapsing and Villanueva might be walking. So I think they signed Cosme. He's a tackle, Samuel Cosme, offensive tackle out of Texas, and I think that's going to try to stabilize and rebuild the offensive line. The Jaguars are a very interesting place. They could, draft really any position besides like maybe running back and quarterback. Obviously, they've already taken. I think they drafted Kwity Paye. He seems to be a very good, strong piece of an edge rusher. The team that analysts really like, and he can, start building a Saxonville replacement to support Trevor Lawrence and James Robinson on the other side of the ball. The Browns take Christian Barmore, defensive tackle out of Alabama. Alabama has consistently produced really good defensive pieces on the line, especially, as we've said. I don't love Baker Mayfield, but, they do. They take up the fifth option. Again, there's no quarterback option here. So I think what we're going to try to do is with teams like Baltimore and Pittsburgh, trying to run the football down the neck, they're going to try to build that D-line and keep it sturdy. He can also be a good rusher and, put pressure on people like, if they make the playoffs, then people like Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Ben Roethlisberger, Mahomes, and Allen. Think of Baltimore. They take Joseph Asai. He's an edge rusher, Texas. They lost all of their edge rushers with Ngakoue going to Las Vegas and Judon going to New England. They just need pieces on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And I think they don't take wide receivers are a little bit thin at this part of the draft. A lot of them going for second and third. And the Ravens have had more success in the second and third round with some wide receivers, right? So I think they take an edge rusher here. Saints are weird. They might need a quarterback. Who the hell knows at this point? I think they take Jamin Davis, Kentucky linebacker. They need some depth. I think on the defensive side of the ball will help them. I guess I don't know. Yeah, they're running low on cap space, so they're just trying to draft young and strong players. So I think they draft Jamin Davis. He seems to be an available linebacker. The Packers is pretty easy. They draft Creed Humphrey, center out of Oklahoma. They lost their center, Corey Lindsey, in free agency. Here's your replacement. Wow, I forgot to edit this. Okay, this is the Buffalo Bills picking out the Jaguars. I just messed up my title. I had a trade happening in my last mock draft. I think the Bills take Najee Harris, running back out of Alabama. They've had success with Trent Richardson, but Mark Ingram and famously King Henry. That's the only thing I think they really need is they really need a run game. They have a good wide receiver core with Diggs and I can't remember the other guy's name. Dallas guy. Anyway, they have a good wide receiver core. They have a really strong defense that's only going to get stronger. We saw it perform really well at the end of the last season. I think they take a running back here to try to build that running core up. That is a mistake. Well, that actually makes sense for the Ravens too. So the Ravens now had the 31st pick after the trade for Orlando Brown. I think they still do take, this makes a lot of sense, get Tevin Jenkins, offensive lineman, out of Oregon State maybe. Yeah, Oklahoma State maybe too. They drafted an offensive lineman, Tevin Jenkins, to replace the pieces that they've lost on the O-line, especially Orlando Brown. Okay, this hasn't changed. Pat Freiermuth, he's a little bit of a stretch, but get a Gronk replacement. Gronk's getting hurt. He's getting older. He's not being as productive. They don't really have any holes. They're a really good-looking team. I think that's where they go. All right, well, please excuse all my mistakes, and we'll see how this goes. Probably in the next couple of days, I will try to get a draft reaction out. We'll need to see. I got some big tests coming up, but I'll let everybody know how that goes. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good rest of your day.